Hey there guys, welcome back to Anthony Vlogs, where Anthony Vlogs. I got a haircut since my last video, so if my hair looks different, it's because it is. So yeah, I just read some comics, just bought a bunch of comics today, mainly one of them being the big DC Universe Rebirth thing. I got this free poster, which is cool, that's free stuff's nice. So I got that. I also bought some Superman books, American Alien and Lois and Clark. Both of those, the final issues of that series. Both really enjoyable. I really like where, American Alien ended, and I really like where Lois and Clark is going now into the DC universe. I also picked up Drax, which is a fun read. If you're a fan of that character, you're a fan of, like, fun action comic sort of books like that, pick it up. It's CM Punk, which is mainly why I support it. But I also picked up, I guess, the two books I'm going to be talking about today, DC Universe Rebirth and Steve Rogers' Captain America, which seem to be the two biggest hawks on the internet right now. I think. I don't know. So we'll talk about the DC Universe Rebirth #1. We'll talk about that. So this is it's not a reboot. They're not changing the universe. They're really just acknowledging the fact that this light is in my face and that it's drastically changing a lot. They're acknowledging the fact that Flashpoint changed the universe, and maybe it wasn't Flashpoint that really changed everything. It was more so the flint that started the fire, but it wasn't the person who had the flint, and it wasn't the fire itself, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know the best way to explain it, but it wasn't really them. The Flashpoint, Barry didn't do it, basically, is what they're trying to say. And this whole book is about Wally West, like pre-52, white, red hair, Wally West, basically trying to get back to the universe. And there's a lot of references to previous Jeff Johns stuff, and there's a lot of references to Wally West stuff. And it's really cool. That stuff I really, really enjoyed. It was really cool seeing Wally West. And we kind of see where the universe is going past this point. Stuff with the Blue Beetle characters, stuff with Superman, stuff with Batman. It's all the sort of stuff that they'll be leading into this new line of stories. So that was really cool. I like that. I like that they're doing stuff with Wally West again, but they're still keeping their current Wally West, the Black Wally West, which is fine, I think there's potential there. I don't know. It's weird. The real thing is that they're hinting at the Watchmen, and you heard me correctly. The Alan Moore story, The Watchmen, that was that was made into a film by Zack Snyder, one of the few good films that he's ever made. How did that happen? I'm one of the few people that think the book is better than the movie. They're hinting that this is now connected. This thing that changed the universe is connected to the Watchmen somehow. Like Dr. Manhattan did it? I don't know what that means. Okay, the Watchmen is such a thing that should have just stayed as its one book. Before Watchmen was a thing, yeah, sure, whatever. But the Watchmen itself is such a critique on comic books and the real world and all this stuff that it changed the game. And now it's like, oh, now we're going to make it part of the DC universe? That's really weird to me. I don't know if I dig that. I really am not totally interested in seeing that happen. The Wally West stuff I love. The fact that this is basically a Wally West book, him returning, is really awesome. And then it does the thing at the very end where it's like, oh, by the way, Andy's birthday party hasn't moved to Watchmen. And it's like, what? Okay, sure. Yeah, I don't know about that. Speaking of things that aren't really, they're super weird, kind of. So, Steve Rogers, Captain America. Steve Rogers is back as Captain America. If you remember, previously, the super soldier serum was drained from him, so he became like an old man, and he was like, ugh, like that. And so now, as of recent, he has been returned to his youth, and now he's Captain America again, the square-jawed freedom fighter that is Steve Rogers. Sam Wilson, the Falcon, is still Captain America, but now Sam Wilson's still Cap, but Steve Rogers is also Cap. And so at the end of this book, and throughout this entire book, it's set up that Steve Rogers, spoiler alert of course, Steve Rogers is a member of Hydra. Just going to put that in the background. What? So in the beginning of this book, they sort of set up the fact that Steve Rogers was almost basically enlisted as a child, like a little boy in New York. I'm doing this, like a little boy. A little small boy in New York City when he was young. He was enlisted to Hydra. And that's what they're kind of setting up now. I I don't know what that means. No, this is a thing. Comics, a lot of things happen in comics, you know? A lot of crazy events happen in comic books, and this stuff happens all the time. And so this is being really blown out of proportion of this, like, you made Captain America a Nazi, and all that crazy stuff. I don't know, this is just another comic event, honestly. It really is. But at the same time, it's not one that I'm interested in. That's the real thing about this, is I'm sure that this story has a purpose, and it has, you know, it has a clear end that they want to reach, and they're trying to do something new and different with the character after being around for so long. You know, sure, that's fine, I get it. That being said, I'm not interested in it. I'm not. Characters like Captain America and Superman and stuff like that, they sort of stand for this symbol, and that's why I read them, you know? There's a reason I like certain interpretations of characters and stories over others. You know, people really like Dark Knight Returns. I don't. That's not my Batman. I don't like the Batman that is literally a block of meat, and he's really angry, and you know, he's like, I've got a lot of narration because I'm Frank Miller Batman, and I'm gonna beat up Superman, and I don't really care for that Batman. I don't. Just like I don't care for Captain America sort of questioning his morals and like having this idea that it's like, oh, what if? It's not for me, you know? There's certain sort of places I like these characters. And like I said, I'm sure that the story has a clear idea of what it needs to do. It's changing up the game. Great, awesome. Comics need that. And like, this is just another comic event. This is nothing to be over crazy about because this stuff happens all the time. That being said, I'm not interested in it. That's all I'm going to say. So DC Rebirth did something really cool and really weird at the same time, and Captain America doing something that I'm sure a lot of people will be upset about, but they really shouldn't, because if you don't like it, go watch the movies, or go read other Captain America comic books. Read Brubaker's run. Read Remender's run. Remender's run is really good, people. I'm just saying. You know, it's no Brubaker, but it's still really enjoyable. So there you go, guys. Comics are weird. They change all the time. My honest opinion is get over it. You know? You don't have to read these books and do what I do. You know, I've created a channel where I am basically creating my own DC universe. You can go subscribe to it. You know, maybe I'll put a link down in the description. And if you think you can do it better like I can, why don't you try? You know, that's all I'm going to say. There's so many people that always say like, oh, you think you can do it better? I legitimately can, and I'm doing it. So go check out that channel. You know, there's so many options for people out there who don't like what's currently going on in comics. Read older comics. Go watch the cartoons. Go watch the movies. Play the video games. There's countless and countless versions of these characters. Just because they're doing one thing right now doesn't mean you should be super upset about it. Should you be a little like, that's unfortunate? Yeah, you are justified in that thinking. But at the same time, whatever. It's weird, and I'm not into it, but you know what? That's what they're doing, and you can't stop it. Alright, guys, tell me what your thoughts down below about Batman v Watchmen, Dawn of Snyder, and Super Nazi Hail Hydra Captain America. Alright. Sure. See you guys later.